family. I hope everybody's doing well. This is the Positive Forces Show, always giving you more, sending you positive vibes.
to change your lives.
I'm your host, Kimon Hall.
And I'm your co-host, Yols, Yola, Yoli.
Hey, in the house, in the house, in the house. How are you doing, y'all?
I'm good. I'm good. And I'm good. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I know.
That,
It's strange. Strange.
mm-mm.
That's what we're getting today.
That's not good. Yola, if you're not good, and a consistent good, like something's not right, y'all. We gotta. No, that's not good. What's going on, Yola? Talk to us. Talk to us.
You know what? Um, I have been fighting this cough for what feels like 3 weeks now.
Okay.
And so it's this constant cough, it's allergies,
Mhm.
nothing else is wrong, just this cough. But sometimes you cough so much and it just starts to hurt in your chest.
Yeah.
That's where I am at right now. And so I finally went to the doctor and she gave me a slew of medicine
Mhm.
that I need to take for a month. A month, guys. A whole month. That's a long time.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so that's it. I like
Okay.
to feel good and I just kind of feel okay. I will say one of the medicines gives me a lot of brain fog. So that's funny. One of my friends that I work with recognized it Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I was telling her stuff.
Oh no.
And then I told her what I was on and she was like, that explains the brain fog. And I was like, yeah.
Wow. So, and did your friend tell you that you
I
were a
was
little
telling
off?
her, yeah, I was telling
Okay.
her what was happening.
That's
And
funny.
yeah, and so then I told her, well, this is what doctor prescribed, and she was like, yeah, that's what it is. I was like, you know what, you're right, because when I started taking it is when it started happening.
No way.
I'm walking, I get up to get ready for work, and I go into the kitchen,
Yeah.
and my pantry is right off the kitchen. So I remembered what I was trying to do when I was in the kitchen.
Mhm.
Time I walked to the pantry, I didn't know what I was doing. So I just kind of stood there, looked around.
No way. Has anybody else experienced that? That's
I have no
wild.
idea.
Oh my
And then I
god.
came back into the kitchen
Mhm.
and
Wow, guys.
yeah.
That's a
So that's
wild.
that's been my week. That's why I'm good, good, good. I'm good because I'm glad that I'm alive
Yeah.
and that I'm taking something to finally get this cough and allergies under control.
Okay.
And then the other stuff is what the other goods are for.
Oh man. So the goods are as scattered as how she was
Right.
feeling. That's funny. Oh my god. Let's open up with prayer.
Yes. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, so much for being who you are.
Yes.
Lord, thank you so much for always being consistent.
Mhm.
Lord, thank you so much for blessing us with your word, your living word that we are to use to guide us, to remind us that you are our strength and you are our rock.
Mm.
Lord, walk with us always, Lord. Never ever leave our side, Lord.
Mm.
And remind us, Lord, that you are always there for us. Remind us, Lord, that you will never leave us, you will never forsake us, and that in all things, good or bad, we can always turn to you. That you
Mm.
always have an open ear for everything that we're going through, that you're
Mhm.
always there to love us and not judge us.
Mm.
I pray, Lord, that you continue to guide us, love us, strengthen us, and help us through these times that we're going through today. I ask all of this, Lord, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. Big up yourself, guys. Hope everybody is doing fantastic this weekend. I'm doing fine. I'm not, I'm glad I don't have the allergies. You know what is funny? I used to have allergies when I was in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it was really bad. You rub my eyes and everything. But I came here to Atlanta and it disappeared. So I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I have never been an allergy sufferer, honestly, but sometimes there's something that blooms and all of a sudden it's like
Mm.
Crazyville, where I have
Mm.
this cough all the time. The only time it's ever happened to me, this happened to me about 5 years ago.
Mm.
And that cough, I think, lasted for like months.
Wow.
I had this cough.
Okay.
And
Wow.
then it happened to me before some years ago. We went to Trinidad. It was for
Mm.
carnival. And
Mm.
the week before I was supposed to leave, something bloomed and I was sick like a dog. It was
No way.
horrible. Yeah.
So no party for you.
Well, the party was done. So. I had a good time. So I had my time.
She made sure she do her party and
Yeah.
anyway.
I had my time. So the sickness came on just in the right time.
Oh my God. All right. Any Yola's thoughts for the day?
Yes, it's a public service announcement.
Uh-oh.
Take care of yourself
Oh, okay, good.
and each other.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
it.
That's
You
it.
know, if anybody's out there suffering from allergies, or if something doesn't feel right, don't hesitate to get it checked out.
Yeah.
If I had gone to the doctor as soon as this happened, I wouldn't be 3 weeks in with this cough. Right.
True.
So just know that when something doesn't feel right, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, check in with yourself, check in with somebody,
Yeah.
get it fixed, get help, and let's continue to move forward. So that's my thoughts.
All right. That's what's up.
Short
That's
and
what's up.
sweet,
All right.
but
all
so
right.
true.
But check in with yourselves. That's good. That's good. And how does that look? What does that look like? Checking in with yourself.
Well, for me, it's just asking myself questions and actually stopping and taking time to see how I feel. For physically, it's actually stopping. Just stop the movement, stop the moving, stop the thinking, and let's actually see how do I feel.
Yeah.
For me, it's like if I'm walking and I feel something hurting my foot, I'm like, did I hit my foot? What happened? That's a check-in. A mental check-in for me is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
If I feel like there's this voice that keeps talking and telling me something that's just not right, then I say, you know what? Where is this coming from?
Okay.
And I might say a prayer, but what is that? Or reassure myself that it's not true.
Okay.
And that's it. What's it for you? Do you check in with
Okay.
yourself?
I do. I do. Especially as you get older, you definitely do that because it's like, boy, a lot of things change, and you're just like, wait a minute, what's this? So I do that with myself a lot. So take introspection. Like sometimes, you'll see like a black mark on like your toe or something. Like you stub your toe, you're like, where did this happen? Like we go through life so fast, so often, and we some things will happen to us, and we'll just mask it, forget it, keep moving along, and not like really thinking about what's going on. But check in with yourself is a powerful tool, and it will give you the energy, the strength to be able to move on to the next thing and identify like what's going on now, because everything you do now affects your future, right? So what's going on now? Am I in the right space? Am I doing the things that I love? Just like doing a real self check-in. I do that and see. So guys, do a self check-in and let Yola know, let us know. How often do you do it? Let us know. Let us know.
Do you do it?
Yeah. I'm gonna put the number up.
Now that you heard it, are you gonna start?
Yeah, please do. We're gonna continue with our topic. The things that you must ask in relationships, guys. We talked about it last week. Because relationships are funny, they're tricky, they're different for everybody, even though it's just one word, right? But it looks different to everyone. And there are things that we need to make sure that we're asking to make, to ensure that the relationship is on the right track. And defining what a relationship is for us and not just for you, because as women, girls, we grow up thinking about the future, about our marriage, about our husbands or baby. We always have the dolls when we were young, right? And Ken and Barbie and all these different dolls that we used to play with, or different dolls. But we're always thinking family, and we used to have the little cooking kits and all that stuff, and we were more domesticated toys at that point, really. But it groomed us for us to start thinking in that manner. Whereas boys, they would play outside, they run up and down, play marbles, and do different things, and not really sitting with even a father figure to talk about the things that they should be doing. So relationships are tough. So let's delve in.
Yeah, I like that point you made about girls and boys. I think that the whole playing with dolls and stuff is a conditioning. And on the boys' side, I think there's also a conditioning that takes place with the toys and the girls, I don't think that we've actually like, are it's not something that's that's natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's something that is put on you as a girl with the things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
conditioning through media with the Ken and Barbie dolls
Mm-hmm.
and the cooking kits and all of these things. And I think the same thing happens for boys. And it would be nice if that conditioning came from our parents
Yeah.
and not so much from media and what we see. And I think it's probably worse now um, because there's so many other outlets. So yeah, I love that point. But
Mhm.
let's dig in with some questions.
Booyah.
So I was thinking one that I don't know if this is really one, but I think it's one for me.
All right.
It's like, what are your sleeping patterns like?
Hmm.
Sounds weird, right?
Okay.
But some
Okay.
people, I think that now I've heard, and I was talking to my friends about this yesterday, that some people like the idea of having separate beds. And some people
Mm.
have the same bed. Some people have separate rooms and,
Mm.
stuff like that. So
Separate
this
houses.
yeah, some men and women are like, if we're married, we have to be together,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
others are like, I need my space. You can have your whole separate house. So these are deep questions. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to like get into some serious relationship and you like to be a cuddle buddy, and
Yeah.
your significant other does not like to be touched.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just touched for a time and then
Mm.
no, get away from me.
Yeah.
So that it
Wow.
sounds silly, but
No.
it's important because this
No.
is going to go with you for the rest of your lives as
Mm.
you build this relationship, marriage, or deep committed relationship together.
Mm.
What's your preference?
That's deep. That's good. That's good. And you know what? That kind of stems into some men can't say I love you, right? They can't say I love you, but they'll show it. They do PDAs, public display of affection. They'll talk to you. They'll provide for you. They'll do everything except for saying that. So if you see your spouse partner not telling you the words I love you, ask them ask them if they do. But they're gonna say, "Wait, I pay the bills, I do this, or I take you out." Of course I do, but challenge them and say, "Hey, I've never heard. I've heard it maybe once, I've heard it maybe twice, but you don't tell me enough if that's something that you need, and see what their answer is, because some men just don't say it, and that stems from childhood too, though.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Hmm.
Um, do you need that reassurance in the way of words? You need to, is it that, if I say I love you, then that means that I love you? Or is it like someone says it too much? How much do you need it? How much do you don't need it? Is it
Yeah,
all the time? Where does
yeah.
that stem from? Yeah, so that's a
Hmm.
pretty good deep question.
Hmm.
I have another one.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of talked about this before, but I think
Okay.
it might have been off camera.
Okay.
Or maybe it was on. I don't know.
Okay.
But it has to do with friendships. The
Mm.
friendships, and I talked about this with my friends yesterday. We had a
Mm.
whole discussion. But um, friendships before your marriage committed
Mhm.
relationship,
Mhm.
especially one that's a friendship of the opposite sex. you know
Ah,
so
yeah.
how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
That's something to talk about. Like, is
Yeah.
your significant partner best friend a woman, and is your best friend a man if you're a woman?
Mm.
What does that look like? Like, do you expect me to leave all of my friends? I had this one friend tell me many years ago that you're married. When you get married, you don't have your single friends anymore. You have new friends, married friends. Married couples should be together, and the single friends, no, they're not your friends anymore. So, like, that's a good question. Like, are you expected to drop your friends if you get married in a committed relationship, or do your friends come along with you and meet your significant other? This does not mean that they get to be in your relationship, because that also is a problem.
Mhm.
But Are you expected to give up your friends, or is it okay to keep them? And especially if they're of the opposite sex, because
Ah,
sometimes people of the opposite sex friends,
ah,
your partner might be insecure that you have this. They
yeah.
might think in the back of their head, how is it? Because some people don't think you should have the opposite sex friends at all. So
Mhm.
it's like, have you guys been together? It might be always in that person's head.
Of
Or it
course.
might be somebody that's super confident. It's like, I really don't care who your friends were before. I don't even care if you guys were together. So I don't care. This is us and this is us now. But I think it's important that you decide which. And then, of course, understand that if both of you decide you're going to drop your friends, that you probably need to make new friends and also be friends. And the realization that this is unfortunate if it doesn't work out, those friends might not
Yeah.
be there. So,
Yeah. That's a huge risk. But oh boy, jeez, that's hard.
uh-huh. I think
That's
it also has to
that's
do
tough.
with respect,
That's tough.
also,
That's
to an
tough.
extent, right? To an
Especially.
extent, some
Yeah.
respect. Because if you know that the person you're with has been cheated on before, and they might be insecure about anyone of the opposite sex that you might be friends with,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do? Do you say, well, you know what? I'll forgo my friends because it makes you feel better? Or do you say, you know what? That's something that we need to sit down and talk about and get you help for, because I'm not going to, you know,
Give
you
up
should
my
not feel
friends.
insecure. Why
Yeah,
do you feel insecure with me? So it opens up a whole slew of questions.
it does. And those are great questions. That's a great question. I think that that person that you're with, it's their responsibility to make sure you don't feel insecure. One, and two, again, if they've had, you choose. And then, of course, if they have had a love connection before, then that makes it very difficult because anything can always fester up again. So I think that at that point, that's where, that person should know who do they value the most at this point. Because if your person is not comfortable, you should be prepared to say or not say how you feel about, having that friend still remaining in your life. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Tough, 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 tough. All right, let's see. Stop recording. Stop recording now. I'm on. I should be on. All right, here's another one. What's a favorite period of your life? How about that? Favorite period of your life? Was that a not a tough question, but it's definitely a question that can be asked.
Yeah.
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 Do you prefer when you went to school, high school, growing up in a certain country or a different state? That's a good question to ask. How about that's an easy one. How about do you believe in the 3 month rule? 3 months rule. Can we set up or do we need to make up a rule for ourselves? Ourselves. Do we need to make up a rule for ourselves and then figure out what the person likes? So we know the 3 month rule, the 6 month rule is every 3 days we do something every 3 week no every 3 weeks, month and years. So every 3 weeks we may do something. Every month, every 3 months, we go somewhere. Every 3 years, we do something big, right? So that's the 3 month rule. So everybody can, decide on, do we want to do something like traditional like that, or do we just say, hey, I want to feel like our relationship is every day is every 3 months. Like people will say, oh, I'm not into Valentine's Day because every day is like Valentine's Day,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So they say, oh, so they're like, oh, we don't need to do that because what if I want to take you out in the next 2 months as opposed to the next 3 months? So that's a question you could ask too. How about if you have one?
Thinking.
Okay. How about secure? How about attachment styles?
Yeah, elaborate on
Attachment
that.
styles. Attachment styles. So there are four main attachment styles, guys, and some of them are good, and some of them are not. So let me see. So one of the attachment style is a secure attachment style, where you are securing yourself. You're secure in the things that you want. You're loving. You're warm. You're trusting. You do the right things all the time. You're just secure. You're confident. Everything is just Gucci, right? And then you have the anxious style. So that person always, sometimes they're fearful, they want to do stuff, but they're not too sure. They're kind of up and down like a yo-yo with their feelings, right? And then they're just anxious about the relationship. Do we know if it's going to work or not? And then you have the disorganized style. The disorganized style, everything is just hard. There's no emotion. I might have PDA, but I don't really, there's no emotion, there's no attachment really. There's hostility, there's aggression sometimes, anger based, not really wanting to be close, but we're around each other. And then we have the avoidant style. And the avoidant style, you're kind of withdrawn, don't like to be chased. You kind of take things at your own pace. You just kind of avoid things. So asking that person if they know what their style is, and hopefully they're stable enough to be able to say, they're secure in their style.
Mm.
Some people, like we talked about love bombing. So like love bombing would be like anxious and disorganized, because you you always want that person around, and you almost can be narcissistic in your action, in your actions.
Hmm.
And you always want them around. You stalk them sometimes. It's just crazy, like, you don't trust them. So finding out what the attachment style is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a deep question is whether you want to have kids or not.
Mm.
I think that's a deep question. Some there are people out there that don't want to have children.
Yeah.
And there's people out there that want to be with you so bad that they'll say they want kids, but they really don't.
See, that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the
So
worst.
do you want to have kids? And how do you want to raise them?
Mm.
Because there's lots of different ways of raising children.
Yeah.
Some people think that spare the rod, spoil the child. Some
Mhm.
people still think that. Some
Mhm.
people think raising the children should be just, let them do whatever and deal with the consequences.
Mhm.
Let them make their own decisions,
Right.
and you're just there to guide them in a sense.
Mm.
So there's lots of different ways to raise children. So that's a deep question. Like, are you guys on the same page as far as raising children, and do you want to have kids?
Mhm.
That's
That's
also
good.
important.
That's good. And what if it's a blended family situation? Like, can I step in as dad, or can I step in as mom and handle the child as I would handle my own? And
That's a good one.
some families, some women will say, well, the father's not in the home, but he's present. And I want his father to do all the punishing and everything else. And then, that can cause a lot of problems too, because
Mhm.
now if that teenager or that child doesn't respect that new man now, because he can't be told anything by that man, that can always bring problems up. So raising your child, how to raise our children together, question, that's very important. Hash that stuff out, guys, before you get into stuff. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Lots of good deep questions.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a shout out to Dewan.
Hey,
Dewan, we see
Dewan.
you watching.
Hey, Dewan. Hope you're doing fine. Hope you're doing fine. Wait,
So, more deep questions?
let's see. Dewan, you have any? Another deep question. Anything? Is there anything that you're hesitant to share in our relationship now?
I think that's a good question. Also, is like, how are you with sharing? Like, how much do you want to share? Not share money, which is important. We talked about that last week, but sharing about yourself.
Mhm.
Because some people think that we're in a relationship now, your past is your past. I don't care. I don't want to know.
Mhm.
Others are like, I want to know every single thing as much as I possibly can. I even want to know how your past relationships went. What happened? Why did it fail? Did you cheat?
Yeah.
What was the thing that you messed up on? Or what was the thing that person did?
Yeah. How much is too much?
Yeah.
How much is necessary?
Yeah, like I think that's a good deep question. Like, how much sharing do you want us to do?
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
much sharing do you need that'll make you comfortable
Yeah.
in our relationship?
Right. That's good. Mm-hmm. How about biggest fears? The biggest fears that you have in our relationship now. What's your biggest fear? Is there any fears that you have in our relationship? That's another question that you should ask and be prepared though for the answer.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
If you have any fears now, but also what's your fear, period?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are the things you're afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
Are you afraid of running out of money?
Mm-hmm.
Not having any money?
Mm-hmm.
Are you afraid of losing a job?
Mm-hmm.
Are you afraid of spiders? I'm kidding. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of telling the truth?
Mm. Are you a liar? How much of a liar are you? We're trying to build trust
What's
here.
your deepest, darkest fear? Are you afraid of drowning?
Mm.
Are you afraid of what? I think that's a good deep question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you afraid of heights? Seems dumb, but your person might, you know, have some elaborate date. This might be then they're going to propose to you. Your man is going to propose to you, and he decides, oh, we're going to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower,
Mm.
and you're afraid of heights. That
Mm.
won't work. It's going to be a disaster.
Mm.
So, what are your fears? What are your deepest fears?
Are you okay with a woman proposing to a man? Talk about that. Because I see that a lot now.
Hmm.
A lot of women are proposing to men, and the men feel as if they are stepping into the feminine role, and some don't like it. So,
I can't think. I can't. I'm not a man, so I can't speak for you guys. But I'm
yeah.
gonna say that I don't think there's a man that likes when a woman proposes. I mean, if there is, and you just happen to be listening, please say something in the chat. Or if you see the afterplay, there's still an option to put your comment. So put your comment in there. Any guy, any one of you guys, are you okay with a woman proposing to you? Because I'll be honest, I cannot wrap my head around that concept to save my life. I just don't see how that works. I think when you do that, ladies, you're cutting him off at the knees.
Mm.
You're cutting him right off.
You done
you
took his
cutting him right off.
manhood away.
Yeah, I think he might say yes, but he might make that marriage date, you know, roll on into perpetuity.
Mm. I wonder
Right?
if a woman is taking a step like that, if she'll always be the one taking the steps to move forward to move the relationship forward as they go.
Wow, maybe. I don't know.
If that's
I mean, it's bold to
yeah.
say, "Oh, I'm going to ask my man to marry." I mean, I think it comes from a place. I think it comes from a place of not having patience.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
want this now.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter if he's not financially stable, if he doesn't really think that I'm the one. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Because I've seen a lot of these dating gurus now are saying that there's a time limit on when this guy is going to make you his girlfriend and when you are going to be engaged and when you're
Yeah.
going to be married. And
Mhm.
then if you don't meet that time frame, you cut them off, right?
Mhm.
So keeping that in mind,
Mhm.
I think that the woman asking a man to marry her or him to marry her, yeah, right, that's right,
Mhm.
is comes from a place of impatience
Yeah.
and maybe some desperation.
Ah.
Like I just really want this right now. I'm desperate because my eggs are shriveling up and I need to have a baby. So let's get married. You know, yeah.
Oh my
Don't
god.
come for me. I'm just saying this is just what I think.
Oh
you know,
god.
or I'm impatient and I need to get married now because all my friends are getting married.
Mm,
So if you're not going to ask me, I'm going to ask you.
you.
Yeah, and I'm going to hope you say yes.
I'm gonna show you how to be a man.
Ooh, you think they do that
I
too?
don't know. I'm
I
just
don't
saying.
know. I hope not.
How about a question? Let's see. How can I help to make your days better? How can I add value to your day? If you've had a bad day, any day, what would
Oh,
be ideal for me to do? And it won't be something where it will still be automatic. It'll still feel automatic. It won't feel staged. But what is it that I can do to make your day better?
yeah. Like if I had a bad day and I want you to leave me alone. So I think that's a good question. Like, what do you want me to do?
Not if I want you to leave me alone.
Yeah, what do
Oh
you
my
want me to
God.
do? What would you like me to do, dear,
Mm,
when you've had a bad day?
yeah.
Or when you have a bad day, what do you do? Do you go, to happy hour, or
Mm,
do you go for a run?
mm,
What do you do?
mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a what does life look like with you
Yeah.
if we were together?
Okay. Okay. All right. That's good. All right. How about have you ever thought of not being with me? Have you ever thought of
I don't
ending
know.
our relationship?
No, I don't know if that's a deep question. That
Is it a
kind of
good question or is it a bad
I
question?
don't know. Oh, that just
Would you want
feels
to
so
hear that?
painful. Would anybody want
It's
to
pain
hear
is deep.
that? Does anybody want to
Is
hear like
at
what
any moment in our relationship, what was there anything that I did that you was just like, I'm about to call it quits?
I feel like that's a question that you're like you're about to break up.
Not
It's like you
necessarily.
guys having issues and you're like, "Oh, this is like after fight number 6." And you're like, "Oh, have I ever done anything that would that you thought you wanted to break up with me?" Oh, that still sounds so painful.
No, it
Just
sounds
to
real,
me.
but you just have to be able to be able to accept it. Hey, you know what? When you did that, when we first met, like 2, 3 weeks ago, 2, 3 weeks in our relationship, a month in our relationship, you did this, and I was considering it, but because I realized that you didn't do it out of pain, out of to be hurtful or to be messy. Then I kind of got to know you. That's your personality. Then because sometimes you don't just give up on a relationship just like that. If somebody does something, you either call it out or kind of look to see, is this like, what's really going on here? What does this really mean, and what does that really mean to the person? So like, why you have to evaluate things. So sometimes you can be like, hey, I'm not sure what that meant. It's best to say it up front,
It's
but
best to just ask. Like,
yeah, it's best to say it up front. But
yeah.
sometimes not everybody's maybe comfortable in saying, maybe they don't want to lose the person. Maybe it's somebody that they really think they like. So they're just like, man, let me just address it another time. That could be from fear of losing that person too. I don't think you'll agree, guys. She's like, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's such a painful question.
That's what we're talking about.
No, I don't think I don't know if deep questions have to be
Painful. They
painful.
don't have to be, but
They
they
don't
can be.
have to be, but I guess they can be.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like what would the person even say? I mean,
I mean,
what could
just
it
that.
be that you've done that oh yeah.
Most of these things happen like at the beginning, though. Well, think about the first month. Not everything should be blissful, but sometimes things can happen, and it could be a character, not necessarily a character flaw, but it could be a difference in maybe culture. It could be anything. It could be anything that could be misconstrued as something that it wasn't. Like, wait, I didn't even mean that. So that's why it's good to talk things out at the beginning. Like, hey, you did this, I didn't like it, it made me uncomfortable. What was that about? Right. And then you
Hmm.
can squash it there. But and then when you talk about, you can ask that question, you say, remember when you did this and we talked about it? Well, that was kind of like a deal breaker for me at the beginning. I was just like, whoa, what's this? But when you explained it, then it made it better.
Hmm.
Yeah. Is that a stretch?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So that can kind of fall in. Is there any regrets about our relationship?
Oh God.
You want to ask these things, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, you gotta ask these things. You gotta ask. Is there any regret?
That kind of feels like something you would ask after it's over, or like if it's at the point of overness. That's not a word.
Hey,
You know, or do you have any
overness.
yeah, right. Do you have any regrets? Yeah, it almost feels like a place of unsureness, almost like insecurity. I don't even like that word. You know, hey, was we're having deep questions, and I'm like, hey, are there any regrets that you have in our relationship? Oh, if that's the case, you might as well just leave.
No, why?
No, like for real, for real.
Why? Why?
Why live in regret? Because to
But-
me, that seems like the answer is I regret being with you because
I regretted.
I regret.
I don't regret it
I
now, but I
regret.
regretted at that moment.
How do you regret at that moment and then not regret anymore?
No,
It's regret. You regret, and that's it.
that's it.
Yeah. Tell us.
Come on, Duan.
People.
Where's our
Is
where's
there
our,
a comeback from regret? Did I say that right?
Of course.
Is there a comeback from
It has to
regret?
be.
Like I regretted getting with this person because A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And now I don't regret it anymore, but that A,
Right.
B, C, D is still there.
I changed my mind. Look how many people have left one another and then they come back to each other.
That's different. That is I regret leaving you
Right.
because you were like, say, the sweetest person I ever met.
Mm.
That's not the same as, is there anything that you regret in our relationship
Mm.
with us in a relationship that you regret? You know, like I regret opening up to you because you use it against me.
Yeah,
How
that's
do
a
you
good
come
one.
back from
That's a
that?
good one. That's a good one.
And my point, how do
Yeah.
you come back from
You
that?
do.
No,
You
it's
so
over.
why?
Why not? Yeah, how you
It
did
doesn't
something.
have to be.
You did something, and
Mhm.
I regret telling you this because you throw it in my face.
Throw it in or threw it in.
And you threw it. I regret telling you this because you threw it in my face. And the person's response is what? Okay,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then you still feel that regret.
Yes, you can.
So then
because
you
you don't
just
know if it
stay
will
in
come
the
back
regret.
again.
It probably will come back again. So you just stay in that regret. I don't know. That's a tricky one.
Depends on how much you like the person afterwards. Like if you still like the
I kind of
person,
feel like you should be like way past liking when you have to have those type of that type of question in a relationship. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's like when you're in the thick of the relationship,
Mm.
not in the beginning, not in the honeymoon phase, not in the la everything's beautiful, you know, Tweety singing every day to doorstep, you know, no,
No.
you know, because at that point you're still trying not to do things that hurt the other person, that you or they would have to be regretful of your relationship.
Mhm. So
I
if
don't
it's so
know.
it's kind of so that will sound like so you're saying it's really toxic. That's like toxic at the beginning.
Yeah.
So toxic at the beginning, can that be fixed? Or if it's toxic at the beginning, it might be toxic in the middle and the end.
I
Just
don't
end it now.
know. Yeah, I don't even know if it can be fixed, toxicity in the beginning, because if it's toxic in the beginning, you shouldn't be in it at all anyway.
There you go.
You shouldn't be in it,
Okay.
you know? So
Okay.
if, you know, ew.
I guess. Yeah. 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 Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Regret in the beginning of a relationship? Oh my gosh, how do you even survive?
I see that. Okay. Wow. That
That made me sad.
made me sad. Okay. All right. How much compromise is too much? Is too much compromising?
That's a good one. You know, how much compromising
It's too much.
are you willing to do, and how much is too much? Like
Mhm,
what
mhm.
like at what point is you're compromising too much?
Yeah. 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 At what point? I wonder who determines that? How do we determine that in a relationship? How do we talk about that and then we say, okay, well, where does it end? How do you talk about
I
that?
don't know. I guess you come up with scenarios, maybe.
Mm.
Like if I lived in Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
and my person decided I got a new job and I'm moving to California.
Ooh.
So or I got a new job and now I have to move to somewhere where it's 4 hours away.
Okay.
We'll not go to California, too far.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours away, right? So the compromise is having to drive back and forth. We're in a solid relationship and
Mhm.
you're gone all week and we only see each other on the weekend. So that
Yeah, so they compromise.
yeah. So is that like is the answer, oh, if it's 4 hours away, I'm okay. But
Right.
if it's across the state, then
Mm.
we can't be together.
Right.
Or if it's across the state and it's gonna be for a year, we're still okay.
Mm.
So I think it would have to be with coming up with scenarios, like compromising scenarios.
Yeah.
I think a compromise too is if one wants to have children and the other one doesn't. Or if one wants to have children and the other can't have children, the
Mm.
compromise is now, hey, are you okay
Do we
with
adopt?
adopting?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay with a surrogate?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay with whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the like if one person that wants to have children is like, no, I want it to be our child with our DNA. So that throws adoption out the window.
Yeah.
So the compromise is, hey, yeah, okay, I know that I'm really not into adoption, but I really want us to have a kid. So yes, let's do that. Or, at least can we have half of the child be ours and let's use a surrogate?
Mm.
Are you open to that? You know?
Half of the child be yours.
Yes, DNA wise.
My half.
Every other way, it's our child. But
Right.
as far as biologically,
Mm. Okay. I don't like that. I don't like that. I wonder if men feel secure with that, knowing that they can't. Well, they'll probably be happy because they have a child. The outcome is getting a child, so they'll probably be okay with it. If it's the man and the woman, maybe they're not compatible. I don't know if that's the thing, or is it just one of them just can't have a child?
yeah, I think it could be either way. Either the man cannot have a child or the woman cannot have a child. But I don't know which is more comfortable with using alternatives than the other. I
Mhm.
don't think I've ever come across a scenario like that before, where it's like, oh, men are more comfortable with this alternative or versus women or vice versa.
Mm.
No, not sure. It's a good thing to look into, though.
Mm. Okay. How do you expect me to be as your husband or your wife? That's
Oh,
easy.
that's a good one.
Okay. Is that easy? And then we can talk segue / submission. We'll get into that too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. It's like an expectation question. Like, what do you
Mhm.
expect
Mhm.
as of me as your wife, and
Mhm.
what do you expect of me, the husband?
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah.
Do you expect me to be running the house, and you are just out there doing the work and paying for everything?
Mm.
And with that, what do you expect of me, vice versa? Or both of us work awesome careers,
Mhm.
right? And who's expected to do what? Are we both going to share responsibilities of the house,
Mhm.
or are we going to split the responsibilities?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a good deep question, because I don't think people ask that question.
No.
I think they have their idea in their head of what it's supposed to look like
Yeah.
based on what they've seen with their parents or aunts and uncles or whatever, but
Mhm.
they don't really ever
Mhm.
think of, what do I expect from you, and vice versa.
Yeah. And then you have a big blow up.
Yeah, because
Then it's
everything,
like, wait a minute,
yeah,
we never
everything
talked
doesn't work
about
for
this. Why are you
everybody.
getting all mad about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And certain things we expect men supposed to do. Like, okay, the light bulb needs to be fixed. Man, I expect you to do that. You're the man. And the man is like, wait a minute, you got two perfectly good arms. and you know how
How
you
many
know how to
perfectly
change,
good arms does it take to screw in a light bulb?
and you know how to do it. Right? So some men would be like, listen, is that just being lazy, or do I just expect you to do certain to do those things in the home? If the woman can do it, should the woman still do it or do it with the man? Or if does the man, is it right for the man to say, listen, I've been working I'm tired. You could have put the light bulb in there. You used to do it before you got married. Is that hard for the man to say? Or is
Mm.
that loving, or is that should she be like, well, wow, I can't believe you said that. That's why I have you here. And then that can cause a huge problem, can it?
It could.
Yeah.
It could.
As simple as that thing is,
Yeah. That's something
those are the things
like,
that causes problems.
that's a problem. That's thing that causes problems.
Who
Like,
takes
I'm
out the
expected
trash?
you to take care of my vehicle.
Yeah.
Make sure that it has an oil change
Yeah.
and that there's gas in it.
Hmm. I think men should just know
That
that.
the tires are working. You know, if my car breaks down, you can fix it, or you can
At
take it
least
somewhere to
they get
get
some. Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
leave
this,
money in my glove compartment. That's
right,
expected.
right.
Yeah. Like just do it. Like,
Like for the guys, like the guy looking at his woman. I expect you to be able to know how to boil rice.
if
You don't
not,
have to
if
boil
not,
rice every night,
if not,
but
teach them. Teach them.
yeah, I expect you to be able to cook. These are things that people in relationships expect from one another.
Yeah, but as simple as it sounds, it those little things they fester up into bigger things,
Into bigger problems,
and then
definitely.
a woman could say to a man, just like you didn't change the light bulb the other day, and now you didn't do this, and you now you didn't do this, and what's the purpose of having you here? And just wait, wait a minute, whoa, whoa. First of all, purpose of having you here, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and then those things cause trouble.
Yes,
Those things cause problems.
I think that's something that definitely should be discussed, because
Yeah.
sometimes those things could just be chores.
Mm-hmm.
Taking out the trash is a chore,
Mm-hmm.
but it can cause a problem
It,
if one person expects that that's your job,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
living together.
Yeah. I mean, who? Yeah. If I come home first, or you come home first, who?
Can't
Who?
touch to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ask these questions, guys. Ask these questions, because if you don't ask these questions, and as you get to know each other more, you build your relationship. As you're in your relationship, those things they will arise.
What I think is good about that question in particular is that while you guys are having that discussion, you can decide who does what.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
You can decide right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say, like, I expect you to do this. You say, hey, what do you think about having this doing this?
Right. Right.
And then, hey, if one time you don't do it,
Is it going to be a big
is it going to
problem?
be a problem, or are you going to do it yourself? And if that one time you do it yourself, are you going to sit back and say, well, she did it, so she can just continue doing it? These are things that
Right.
should be discussed.
Yeah, and see that's why sometimes a female won't want to do it the first time, because if I do it the first time, he's gonna say, "Wait a minute, you did it before," and then the expectation is now, well, you can do it,
You can
so
do it.
just do it.
Just do it.
So the women are like, "Hey, I'm not even gonna do it."
Yeah. And all of a sudden,
I
you
want
got
to start
like
a pattern.
a whole bunch of garbage out there. No, I'm kidding. But yeah,
Don't want to start a
kind of like
pattern.
your
Don't
job
want.
at work. Once you start doing that one task that's not part of your job description, all of a sudden you're expected to do it all the time.
True. True.
Same thing.
All right, one more, and then final thoughts. How about? I know. How about? Y'all ready for this one?
Oh yes, bring it.
Would you tell your partner that you're attracted to somebody else?
Get close.
Is it say, hey, I'm attracted to someone else? Is that a good, because it's true. You got to be real, right? You got to be real. Like, we're in this thing, but there's an attraction for someone else. Talking about honesty here. You might
The
be.
question is, if I was attracted to somebody else,
Mhm.
would you want me to tell you?
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You think that's a good question?
I think it is.
Perfectly good question.
I think it is a perfectly splendid question.
Okay.
I
Okay.
love it.
All right. All right.
Yes, because
But
no, go ahead.
be
But
very ready. Be very ready for that answer now. And be very ready for it because that can come up at any time. Right? So ask also, is there a specific way or time that we should talk about this? Some men will probably listen to this and they're like, nah, that's crazy. We're not even gonna do there.
well, that's you.
We're not gonna go there because I'm not telling no woman nothing.
Did that with the
The
accent. Did you hear that?
nothing. So the thing, yeah. So the thing with not telling the person is that when you have an area of darkness, because now it's becoming dark because you're now hiding, you're going around and you're taking care of this other person, you're paying bills and doing everything else, so now you're hiding. If the person that you're with finds out, will the relationship still be the way it is?
I kind of feel that when you're hiding stuff like that, your feelings, that it starts to grow
It will grow. It will
and
grow.
grow and grow and grow. I
it,
saw a movie
it
like
has
that.
it has to grow.
I saw a movie like that about darkness,
And yeah.
and it grew, and there wasn't anything that anybody could do, and it just
Mhm.
ate everything around this person
Mm-hmm.
until there was nothing left but darkness. So, yes,
Yeah.
it just grows when you start hiding things
Yeah.
like
It's
your
just
feelings.
yeah. Just tell
Just
if you really want that relationship to work,
yeah.
you tell that person how you feel.
My thing about that specifically is that um well, you know that, and not even that is tricky
It's
because
tricky.
the person's answer might be no, I don't want you to tell me, deal with it yourself.
Yeah. So then you
Right?
respect that.
Yeah, you
Then you
have
respect
to.
that. You have to figure it out on your own.
And you have to figure it out on your own.
Some
And I think that sucks.
some people say not every truth needs to be known.
Yeah, some
Right.
people say that too.
Right.
And then the other person's answer might be, if you feel like you're attracted to somebody, I need you to tell me.
Mhm.
And you the person receiving that information needs to be able to see that it was brought in honesty.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that they're doing anything.
No.
It means that they're being honest with how they feel,
Mhm.
and they need you to do whatever they need you to do
Mhm.
to get rid of that feeling,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah. And
Right?
sometimes you just need. Sometimes when you say things and you listen to it, you're like, whoa, that didn't even sound right, and you're just like, well, I'm so sorry. Like, but sometimes when you get things out in the open, it's dead. There's nothing for the
Yeah,
enemy.
it dies. It
There's nothing for
dissipates. It's
anything to
nothing.
grow. It's like it's done
Yeah,
now.
it's
Like,
in the light.
I think, yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
wait a minute,
I
what am I
like
doing?
it.
Like, this person's not even like,
Right.
and
What in the
and do
world?
a check-in. Just do a check-in with the person and say, hey, how's everything going? I love you, and I want to make sure that we maintain what we have. And it's so many people are in this world. It's going to be hard for you to say that you're not attracted to somebody, or you don't find somebody attractive. Let's just say that,
Yeah.
because we find a lot of people attractive,
Yeah.
and you got to make sure that you make your person secure enough to know that regardless of who's around me, our relationship is solid, and that's it. It goes nowhere else with anybody else. All right. Final thoughts.
Um, I really didn't prepare a final thought this time. I really didn't.
Okay.
I will say that this is the part I don't like. I say that every week because it really is. Because I just love talking with Kimmy Kim,
Yay.
chop it a chop chop,
Chopping
and I
it
love
up.
talking to Dewan too, and us being on a show together is
Yeah.
like a truly delight, and makes me feel all good inside. And talking with you guys and being here with the listeners, I love that part of it too. So, final thoughts this week. I'm just going to go back to Yoli's public service announcement to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
Take care of yourself. If you feel not quite right, go see a doctor.
Mhm.
Talk to somebody,
Mhm.
you know, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, remember to check yourself. Remember to do something about it if it doesn't feel right. And just take care of yourself and each other. That's a final thought.
Yes, yes. So pick up yourself, guys. And with that being said, that's it, y'all. Man, I really, really enjoy you guys. You choose radio, Viscosity Blend, Zion Highness Radio, Reggae Global Radio, Family Ascension Radio. Big up yourselves. I hope everybody will have a fantastic rest of the week and this week to come. Make sure you are as open as you can be, as open as you think you should be, as open as you want your your significant other to be, become that. If you want them to be honest with you, ask them, but talk things out. The divorce rates, guys, are too high. It's too high. It's too high. We got to make a change. Show love and positivity to everybody. Guys, love you. Take care. Have a good one. Respect. All right. Later.